Good morning, students, and welcome back to the session of virtual class. I'm your social science teacher, Isha Puri. Please like, subscribe, and share my videos. Press the bell icon for further notifications, and don't forget to write your name, class, and section in the comment box. Children, today we are going to start a new chapter of political science, that is federalism. So, let's start. Children, let us get back to the contrast between Belgium and Sri Lanka that we saw in the last chapter. You will recall that one of the key changes made in the constitution of Belgium was to reduce the power of the central government and to give these powers to the regional governments. Regional governments existed in Belgium even earlier. They had their roles and powers. But all these powers were given to these governments and could be withdrawn by the central government. The change that took place in 1993 was that the regional governments were given constitutional powers that were no longer dependent on the central government. Thus, Belgium shifted from a unitary to a federal form of government. Sri Lanka continues to be, for all practical purpose, a unitary system where the national government has all the powers. Tamil leaders want Sri Lanka to become a federal system. What is the meaning of the term federalism? Federalism is a system of government in which the power is divided between a central authority and various constituent units of the country. Usually, a federation has two levels of government. One is the government for the entire country, that is usually responsible for a few subjects of common national interest. The others are governments at the level of provinces or states that look after much of the day to day administering of their state. Both these levels of governments enjoy their power independent of the other. In this sense, federations are contrasted with unitary governments. Under the unitary system, either there is only one level of the government or the subunits are subordinate to the central government. The central government can pass on orders to the provincial or the local government, but in federal system, the central government cannot order the state government to do something. State government has powers of its own for which it is not answerable to the central government. Both these governments are separately answerable to the people. Children, let us look at some of the key features of federalism. Number one, there are two or more levels or tiers of the government. Like in our own nation, India, we are having a three-tier system. Number two, different levels of government govern the same citizens, but each level has its own jurisdiction in specific matters of legislation, taxation, and administration. Number three, the jurisdiction of the respective level or tiers of the government are specified in the Constitution. So, the existence and authority of each tier of government is constitutionally guaranteed. Number 4. The fundamental provisions of the Constitution cannot be unilaterally changed by one level of government. Such changes require the consent of both the levels of the government. Number 5. Courts have the power to interpret the Constitution and the powers of different levels of government. The highest court acts as an umpire. If disputes arise between different levels of government in the exercise of their respective powers. Number 6. Sources of revenue for each level of government are clearly specified to ensure its financial autonomy. Number 7. The federal system thus has dual objective to safeguard and promote unity of the country while at the same time accommodate regional diversity. Therefore, two aspects are crucial for the institutions and practice of federalism. Governments at different levels should agree to some basic rules of power sharing. They should also trust that each would abide by its part of the agreement. An ideal federal system has both aspects, mutual trust and agreement to live together. The exact balance of power between the central and the state government varies from one federation to another. This balance depends mainly on the historical context in which the federation was formed. There are two kinds of routes through which federations have been formed. The first route involves independent states coming together on their own to form a bigger unit so that by pooling sovereignty and retaining identity they can increase their security. This type of coming together federations include the USA, Switzerland and Australia. And in this all states have equal powers. The second route through which a large country decides to divide its power between the constituent states and the national government. India, Spain, and Belgium are examples of this kind of holding together federations. In the second category, the central government tends to be more powerful vis-a-vis states. Very often, different constituent units of the federations have unequal powers. Some units are granted special powers. Children, that's all for today. Now it's time to do some work. So, in comment box, mention the name of the country that is having unitary form of government. Thanks for watching the video, children. Have a nice day.